Doma Sports Talk Worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, the big one, right? Terrence Bud Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, some more residue. Now, there's a lot of residue coming from that one. You know, we got a new face of boxing, one that should have been face of boxing for the last 6, 7, 8 years. But hey, New Russia don't let that happen. But now it's no doubt about it. So the face of boxing, you know, has been crowned. And he's earned it. So for the first time in a long time, the face of boxing will have nothing to do with popularity. Well, a little bit now, because you're popular now, because you've been in a big fight. But you've earned it, right? Through what you did in the ring, through your accomplishments in the ring. That's what I think face of boxing should be. Anyway, if we're going to say face of boxing. Because my point about it is the other ones, well, if you're popular, then damn, hey, the most popular guy in boxing. There's nothing wrong with saying that. But when you're saying face of boxing, it's egregious. Because you know you're presenting it to casual fans that don't know what's really going on in boxing. It's a niche sport to them. They're like, oh, the face of boxing, that must be the best guy. That's what they equate that to. And the face of boxing ain't never been the best guy. We got one dude we call that, what's this little dude named Tank Davis, right? People was calling him the face of boxing. And he has another guy in his division that was undisputed. Another guy in the same division went and got all 4 belts, and they calling this guy the face of boxing. No, popular. Canelo, face of boxing. I ain't fighting this guy, I ain't fighting this guy, I ain't fighting this guy, I ain't fighting this guy. Cool. He can fight who he wants, all that stuff. That means you're most popular. A face of boxing ain't gonna have nobody in his division that people are calling better than him. A face of boxing shouldn't have that. So that's my point there. Now, the face of boxing, the former face of boxing, and the very best Mexican of all time, let a lot of people tell it. If I y'all, I told you Mexicans need to stand up and say, hey, hold up now. But whatever. The very best Mexican of all time, according to his accomplishments and a lot of fans, just got schooled by a little dude. Right? A little dude. A little dude that we can't sell. A little dude that doesn't have a resume. Right? So he just got schooled in front of a whole lot of people. So that's something, you know, you got to just digest, people. Now, I'm hearing some things that's like, you know, nuts. First thing is nuts is some fool and walked up to Canelo and said, I had you winning. I ain't got time to be saying who it is and all that because, damn it, y'all don't mention names here. But walked up to him, a reporter, you know, I had you winning. Well, it's good. I'm happy somebody was an idiot enough to say that on a big platform because now people know how much of an idiot you are. So good for you. You got to deal with that. Because anybody that had Canelo winning that fight is an idiot. Something is mentally wrong with you. And you don't have to be scoring boxing matches. Regardless of who you like, it's impossible to be a little bit objective and have Canelo winning that fight. So good luck with the future. All right? People know what time it is with you now. That's one thing. Here's another thing that goes down. It's a trip. You know, Canelo didn't have to take this fight. You know, Canelo didn't have to take this fight. Let's give him props for taking the fight. Right? I'm not with that either. Who the hell is you gonna fight? Why wouldn't you take a fight for $150 million against a little dude that's coming up three weight divisions? Why? Why wouldn't you take a fight? So what do we? I mean, especially after fighting the Jaime Munguias of the world, the Edgar Belangas of the world, the Yildirams of the world, the Roy Fieldings of the world, the John Ryders of the world. I mean, so none of those fights anybody asked for, right? So here you are in open daylight saying, I ain't fighting my mandatories in David Benavidez or David Morrell for over 2.5 years. And then we just offer you just a competitive little dude who most people say is so small that he don't have a chance. So we're going to give you props for fighting that for $150 million? Hey, you guys are embarrassing Canelo. You guys are basically saying, we don't think you're that good, bro. I don't want you in no fights where there's any competition. That's what you're saying. That's the translation. Canelo, we don't want you in any fights against anybody that we think could possibly beat you. That's why we were doing all this stuff with you, let you call Demetrius Andrade a horrible fighter. or let you get a franchise title instead of fighting Jamal Charlo. Because we know what time it is. We ain't trying to have you in any competitive fights. We just want to adorn you as being the best, but we don't want anybody to test that theory. Right? Because these people don't have eyes. They can't see that you're not the very best. So we can get away with saying that, especially if we got new Russian media with us on this one. So we can just tell people stuff. So we ain't trying to, we're keeping you away from the Jamal Charlos. Hey, take that franchise title. We're keeping you away from the Demetrius Andrade. Call him a horrible fighter in front of everybody above. Everybody can see that he's not a horrible fighter. Call him that. You don't have to take that fight for undisputed at middleweight. We're going to ignore that. We're not going to even mention that. We're going to let you get away with saying Sergey Kovalev is daring to be great for fighting a guy that had just 8 weeks break after having a hard fight with Anthony Yard. We're going to say that was awesome against Sergey Kovalev, who ain't even healed yet. Because we're going to want them to not think about that you ain't fighting middleweight for undisputed with Demetrius Andrade. We're going to go with all that. We're going to go with you not fighting David Benavidez. WBC ain't going to force you by somebody. WBC's forcing Mibili right now to fight Lester Martinez again. They forcing him to fight him again because it was a close fight. They didn't force Canelo to fight Lara again. Right? You know, they didn't force Canelo to, hey man, go undisputed against Demetrius Andrade. They ain't forced Canelo to fight Jamal Charlo after 3 interim fights from Jamal Charlo. They come up with a franchise title. Think they're going to come up with something for this brother, Mibili, because he had a close fight? Right? Canelo ain't got to fight nobody after no damn close fight. You see what I'm saying? They didn't even force him to fight David Benavidez. David Benavidez, 2.5 years is mandatory, and they just did all kind of stuff. So, you know, WBC, like I told you before, I'm surprised people still letting him in the ring, but whatever. Right? So no, we're not giving Canelo props for fighting Terrence Crawford. It is a contact sport, and with, you know, emphasis of sport. It's a sport, man. We got, you know, there should be some kind of competition. It's not like we're just going out here at exhibition. Canelo, you're supposed to be better than these guys, but we're going to put you. He's a pound for pound guy. He's the best Mexican ever. We can't just say the best Mexican ever don't have to fight anybody. That's hard. If Terrence Crawford, from 147 pounds, it's too hard for Canelo to fight, we're going to give him props for fighting him. For $150 million, then you're acting like Canelo's some kind of handicapped fighter. Who wouldn't do that? I mean, we don't have to take Canelo. What fighter, anybody, any fighter that's a champion, all you champions out there, relay this message to the champions. Which champion out there, and I'm going to go lower in price, any champion out there wouldn't have fought Terrence Crawford or anybody that's awesome 3 divisions lower than you for $50 million. Name me a champion that wouldn't do that. 2 divisions lower than you. Somebody really awesome, but he's 2 divisions lower than you. You won't fight him for $50 million, let alone $150 million. You see what I'm saying? This is what we're trying to say. So hell to the no. Canelo Alvarez is not getting no props for just fighting Terrence Crawford. Damn, who else you was gonna fight? You know what I'm saying? People ain't gonna do no David Benavidez. You know, and you picked around them, made these guys go up. So we wasn't getting that. So at least as a fan, at least we got Terrence Crawford, something halfway competitive before the fight. Now after the fight, we're gonna have to deal with that. Now I'm hearing also people complain, well, the Mexicans are complaining and throwing them under the bus and stuff like that. No, it's just some Mexicans are saying, hey, damn it, he lost. You know, they're not coming up with excuses about the loss. They're not, you know, that don't mean they're not Canelo fans. They're just not coming up with excuses of why he lost, that Canelo's getting slower and all that stuff. When did that happen? We got trying to act like William Skull was nobody. William Skull is a great boxer. He just stayed outboxed Canelo and didn't get no credit for it. William Skull is top fit. Canelo ain't slowing down. Canelo was, when was he fast? During the whole time that he didn't want to fight Demetrius Andrade? Was he fast when he was Demetrius Andrade mandatory at 154 pounds? Was he fast when he was dope for Canelo, Gennady Golovkin? And when he didn't want to take undisputed at 160 pounds with Demetrius Andrade? When was he fast? Was he fast when Laura outboxed him? So stop it. Canelo is the same guy. He hits harder. Remember how hard he was supposed to hit before this fight? Remember that? He was supposed to hit so hard that Terence Crawford better get up out of there and better not fight with this guy, right? So he went, I mean, everybody's slowing down a little bit, but Terence Crawford is slowing down too at 38 years old in a couple of days here. He's not the same fast guy that Manny Pacquiao avoided, and that the whole boxing community didn't want Manny Pacquiao to fight. That's what they were saying, man. This is a Floyd Mayweather 2.0. We ain't want nobody to fight him, right? So he fought a slower version of Terence Crawford. So at the end of the day, Canelo Alvarez gets 0 props for fighting Terence Crawford, because he would have got props if he would have fought Dimitri Bivol in a rematch at 168 pounds, so Bivol can come back down to his weight and fight him there for the belts. He didn't want to do that either. He wants to only fight Bivol at 175, so after the fight he can say, well, man, 175 is just a little bit too much, right? And Bivol's like not having it. No, I want to fight at your weight, so we ain't got no excuses after. Canelo wants no part of that. So at some point, damn it, the only option left is Terence Crawford for $150 million. So again, hell no. No props here. Just competitive nature and a little bit of competitive nature for Canelo Alvarez, because my point is that's all that was out there that was decent for real boxing fans. Y'all get that one? Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. We got things to do. We up out of here.